I'm Steve Norris. I was Transport Minister from 1992 to 6 in the last all-Conservative government. I'm now a member of the board of Transport for London. I've had commercial interests in road management in various aspects, through speed control, through road safety, steel engineering and so on. So it's a field I know a fair bit about. I think this is a must. Frankly, every road management professional in local authorities, and indeed those who want to supply those local authorities, is having to come to terms with how we deal with these unprecedented cuts in our budget. And this is the place to find out, because you've got a good lineup of speakers. The sponsoring organisations are really professional. I think this is going to be a must, frankly. Well, the outcome of the conference has to be that people go away with some fresh ideas about how they can deliver the same for less, how they can deliver more for less, hopefully, in the field of road maintenance, because it is a critical asset for everybody. We all use the road system, regardless of what our position in society is, and whether we're walking them, whether we're driving them, whether we're carrying goods along them, whether that's our business, so to speak, or whether we're simply a means for getting from A to B. It's a vital component of our national infrastructure, and finding out how we can deliver the right standards safely, securely, and most of all, economically, is going to be right at the top of the management list for anybody with a serious interest in this subject. Well, I'll be just sort of giving some insights into what I see from the point of view of a former minister with an involvement in road management as to what the real issues are that we ought to be concentrating on. Without saying too much in advance, I'm certainly going to be talking about more innovative ways of working, more collaborative working, looking at new techniques that are available. This is not an industry which is the same as it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. All of that, I think, needs to be fed into a much broader picture of specific ways and, if you like, generic ways in which we can get better value out of the system. Well, I hope what they get from my contribution is simply an understanding of how important it is to think laterally. There's a very great tendency, particularly I may say in highway maintenance and management, for people to say this is the way we do it because this is the way we've always done it. And actually what you're trying to do is to get people to think of new ways of working. And I will be saying a lot about collaborative working. We've seen it emerging now. Is it something to be worried about? Is it going to be a loss of control? Does it mean the fudging of boundaries of responsibility, or does it actually simply mean getting better value for money by optimizing supply chains? Now, if it can be the latter, if there's better value for hard-pressed consumers, for hard-pressed local authorities, hard-pressed taxpayers, then that's something we should all be striving for. There's no way you can make a bitter pill that palatable. It's always going to be bitter, and there are going to have to be some tough decisions made about priorities, about what we think we can afford to achieve and what we can't. But one thing I'm very clear of, our voters, whether at the local authority level or at national level, expect us to be doing what they're doing in their own lives, which is finding ways of getting better value, of doing the same but for less. They're doing it themselves. They're doing it literally in their personal lives. They're doing it in their shopping habits. They're doing it in their own businesses. And frankly, it's just not acceptable if we in local authorities are not doing the same. I don't think there are any easy areas in terms of highways management. Clearly, cross-boundary working is going to be a big issue, but it's one that we've faced in the past. It's been one that I know, having been on both sides, both as a local authority person and from central government, that getting across these new collaborative agreements isn't going to be easy. But it is going to be important. I mean, I think we've seen some of the precedents before where, simply by saying, look, we're not giving away political control of our area, but we are simply going to take advantage of bulk buying, of buying strategic advantage where that's possible, looking at innovative techniques, exploring new ways of doing things more cleverly, thinking outside the box. Those are really the things that we're going to have to do that are going to make our jobs, frankly, livable in the foreseeable future.